Hello, and welcome to Branches of Prosperity. I'm Andra Annette. I am a nurse, a holistic practitioner, leaky gut, thyroid, and weight loss expert, and I put people back in the body they love. I am the founder and owner of Chronicles of Courage, and of course, Pounds to Go. And this is my co-host, CJ. CJ?
Hi, I'm CJC Boyd, and I am CEO and founder of Queen by Design and the Fuck Yes After 50, the movement for women over 50 who I want them to reclaim who they are, their value, their worth beyond the rules and roles and responsibilities they've had their entire life. And I want us to just take back our lives and live audaciously.
Oh, I love that. I love that. It gets better every time I hear that. I'm
I
saying
change it every
fuck
time I
yes
say it.
after 50. So, um, so I want to get into a little about marketing today, not so much products and services because we are involved in different things, but some do's and don'ts of marketing because there's so much out there. So there's certain things that should be a red flag in your inbox when like for me, it's when I see a message that looks like it's 2 pages long. Somebody's telling me something. They're not just popping in to say hello and see how I am and get to know me, right? So, and I get those a lot. So you get those a lot,
Absolutely.
and they drive me crazy. First of all, if you're in business, you don't have time to be reading those kind of messages. So who's ever sending you that is more out of desperation because if they're in business, they don't have time to be sending those either. So that's a copy and paste that they're sending to hundreds of people, hoping to grab some people into their thing, right? So be very wary of that. And you know, there's attraction marketing where people come to you. What you're selling is so good, they're either ready to get it or they're not, right? But you do, we were on a call earlier. You do want to find people that are in that in that buying mode, not where they're just looking around and they're Googling how to make money online and stuff like that. You do want to find people that are actually ready to find out more about the services you're offering, not someone who's going to, you know, just click on that idea of what you're offering and then go bring it somewhere else, right? As their own. So you have to be careful out here because there's a lot of sleazy stuff, right? Um, people will tell you that they're really not interested in that, and then you'll find that they're on a new team inside of something that you're doing, and you're like, really? And they weren't
Yep,
interested, right? Because they don't want to give credit to someone else or whatever it is. But when someone invites you to something that's really good, it doesn't matter. You should be grateful that you're there, you know.
exactly.
But people are stuck in, how that will look and all that other stuff. And you can't be like that out here. You have to, if you have something really valuable that is helping your family and giving you an extra source of income, then you should want to share that with as many people as possible. Especially if it's not one of those MLMs that, you have to bring all your family members in to make $5, right? Um, yeah. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think, I like to think of it like the low-hanging fruit. Like there's those people who click on everybody's thing and, they're looking for this or looking for that, but they're tire kickers. They're not going to take any action. They really aren't interested in doing something. They just want to see what's out there. But then again, like you said, there are people who you've talked to now several times, you've given them opportunities, you brought these things that are really working for you to them, and they're like you said, they go in and they're on somebody else's team, and you're like thinking, well, why didn't you want that to work? But it's because they're intimidated by the fact that you're doing it for a genuine reason when they really are just in there. They want to make some quick money. They don't want to do all the trainings. They don't want to have that rapport with people, but they don't want to admit that you were right, that you brought something amazing to them. Because I've had that happen several times. And it's like, it's just a reminder that not everybody is your person. We attract people who we think that we can help, but there are a lot of people that are out there that are the version of us that we were 10 years ago. I don't want to deal with I don't want to work with those people because I want people that are ready to take action, ready to really grow and evolve and expand. I don't want the woman who's sitting in the corner crying, going, I really want to change, but I'm really not going to do it. I really want to make a difference, but I'm really not going to put any effort in it. I don't want that person anymore. And I think that the main thing is just be genuine and be realistic and honest and integrity with what you have to offer, and the people who are your people will come. And that's what attraction marketing is really all about. It's just being who you are. And that saying, your vibe attracts your tribe. It's totally true. The people
Yeah.
who come to you and believe in you and want to work with you, want to really build something spectacular, they're going to come.
It's interesting because I worked with a marketer a while ago and I love him. It's just that I've gotten some things from him, like information, but I'm just not at that level anymore. So what I wanted when I met him and what I want now is very different, right? So he's still offering that same thing and he's doing amazing with it. It's working for him, but my I've pivoted in what I want, right? So and that's okay. So everybody's not for everything. But he loves on my posts, and I said, "Oh, that's really sweet, right?" And I rant and rave about him because he is excellent, but um, his kind of stuff is very time consuming, and I don't have that kind of time, right? Because well, if I have to do something like so for me in marketing, I want something that sells itself, right? I don't want to have to bring you something that I gotta sit there and explain it. I want to be able to, I mean, in detail. I want to bring
Right.
you a concept, and this concept just is so phenomenal, right? Like the meeting we were in earlier,
Yeah.
that you say, "Oh my God, I could absolutely see how this works," right?
Right.
Or I can take you to a video to show you how this works, right? Because that's going to save me time, and it's and it will also tell you if people are in it or not, right? Because you can make a low investment, you can make a high investment. It's up to you how much you think, where you think you're at in a lot of these things, So there are some things out there in marketing that you either have to come in at a $10,000 piece or you lose the opportunity. So both CJ and myself are involved in things where you can come in at any level you want, learn it, and see if it's something you could actually see yourself continue to do, right? And if it's not, no harm, no foul, right? But where I think a lot of people get stuck out there is they think that if they buy high ticket, they're going to make more money. And that's really not the case because if you're not at that high ticket level yourself, you don't feel that value of yourself yet, then you ain't going to sell it to anybody else, right?
Yeah.
So
And
you
I
do
think
have to,
that's where the gap is. You have all these high ticket marketers out there going, oh, don't bother with low ticket because high ticket's going to get you to the big money. But if you don't have the capacity to hold that big money, you're not going to make those sales. You're not going to be able to do that. And that's what I love about the meeting that we were on before is it bridges the gap between that low ticket sale, builds all the skills, builds all the personal development, builds all the self-belief, builds all the confidence, and gives you the tools to implement to get you to that point where you are able to hold that kind of money so that you can be in a high ticket business if that's what you so choose.
but it also allows you to build and move through that gap and then say, okay, I've done this, I've been successful so far, and now I'm ready to do this,
Yeah.
right? Right? Because you can make money at every level. You're getting paid up front. So you're not losing anything here. You should make back your money right away. Um, but the other thing too is like most people need to have high ticket and low ticket. So
Mm-hmm.
those people that only do high ticket, I'm kind of baffled by that.
Yeah.
Because I worked with a coach, Dan Harrison, who I just loved. Like I was in one of his groups and he was teaching marketing and stuff like that. Because when I came online, I didn't know the first thing about marketing, right? So I wanted to learn, right? And he said that you're better off starting with a high ticket because you could always go down and you know that people that have already paid that high price will think nothing about buying this low ticket item from you. He said, but he said most people start with low ticket, which is what I did. and and then builds up to the higher things. And he said that you should do it the other way. You should build the high ticket first and then the low ticket.
Well, and I
So
think the thing is that a lot of people start with that low ticket mentality with the upsell, with the always that upsell. Like if I provide them all this great value and get them results, then I can easily sell them because they already know, like, and trust me that I can get to that thing. But I think when people invest in that high ticket thing, like you said, they have the ability to go, okay, that's not working for me, or I'm not getting the results that I desire. I can go down to this level and know that I'm still going to get some value.
yeah, but it also it tells you the person that they are ready to put in the work, right? Because they made that investment. Okay, I'm worth this, right? Like even the health consulting I do, I have some people that pay me in full, and I offer payment plans to people because everybody's not in the same place, you know.
Right.
And then I have other people that want to break it up into weekly. Those want to be so, but that's where they're at. So I'm not going to tell them no, but I want them to see the value in like that commitment, you
Yeah,
know, because when you have to think about the money as paying weekly, then you're not ready to make that commitment in yourself, right?
exactly.
um so so it does say something about where you're at in your life and stuff. So but you should just be leery of anything that sounds too good, whether it's high ticket or low ticket. If someone's telling you you're going to rid the addiction in your life in one EFT tapping session, probably not going to happen. If someone's going to tell you that they could release all the trauma you've ever felt in your life through one hypnotherapy session, absolutely not going
Yeah,
to happen. No matter, unless they're Moses, they ain't seeing inside you like that. So because I see a lot of those things out there, and they really irk me
yeah,
because it's very egotistical to think that A, they know the person like that, or B, that person's ready to share that kind of information with someone they just met. Because for any of those things to work, people really have to be able to share that information, that deep personal information, and not
absolutely.
that you got to hypnotize them to find it out, right? Um, so I just think that's bizarre. And yeah. So just like there's disingenuous people in marketing, there's disingenuous people everywhere online. You have to find your people, like CJ was saying, right? That you'll find those people that are going to spend that time with you. Like if someone approached you and said, I have this thing and it's really great, and you said, hey, I'm not in a place to invest a lot of money right now, and they said, well, you can come in at this level, or I have something else you might be interested in that is exactly where you're at.
Yeah,
Come to the meeting, find out about that. So
exactly.
anybody who's asking you to pay up front without finding out the information and really understanding it, um, is not a good fit for you, right? Because I'm not buying anything that I don't know how it works, right?
Exactly.
um
And that's what I love about it. It's total transparency. It's a conversation. It's a deep dive in the back office. There's nothing hidden. You can see exactly what you're getting, and there's no questions, no stone left unturned kind of thing, where you can see everything before you actually go into it. And there's, a lot of times you go to these high ticket webinars, it's like, oh, I'm going to teach you how to earn 20K a month, and you go to these webinars and it's just this really long drawn out pitch to upsell you. And these meetings that we have, you get to see behind the scenes. There's nothing left to the imagination.
and he
You know
literally
exactly what it
teaches,
is.
yeah, he literally teaches you everything he knows, and I respect that. But a lot of these webinars, they tell you in the beginning that they're going to pitch you at the end, but they also spend the first half hour of that hour webinar telling you all about them and why they're the person that they should
Yeah.
listen to. And
How great they are.
yeah. So yeah. So just be careful out there. So our shows are really meant to be informative because there's so much out there, I listen to meditations at night before I go to sleep. So I put on YouTube and I listen to the meditations. And there was an avatar teaching you how to make videos to make $10,000 a month. I said, oh, look at this. They even got the avatars involved, right? But I mean, everything he was saying was fantastic. It was phenomenal. I mean, this guy's a genius that he even knows how to like create all the stuff that he did. But I
Right.
was just, but I looked at that and said, I could never ever do that. I'm not at that level. So it's great. Shut it off because, when I'm
Right.
ready for it, I'll watch it again. So that's the other thing. You have to be ready to invest in yourself. You have to be ready to put in that time because no matter regardless of what people are saying out here, nobody's going to $10,000 months unless you're very lucky and you have a flood of people that say yes in that first week. That's not happening overnight. And it does take time. So even if you have a really good first month, you still have to grow with the program or whatever it is you're selling, the product, the services. You have to grow as a person to feel comfortable with that kind of abundance coming into your life and to keep it, right? To keep repeating that system and to keep making it work for you, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I just
you
love,
have to do that analytics. A lot of people are, doing business, but nobody's checking the analytics to see what's working and what's not working. So you can't create a repeatable system without knowing what's working and what's not.
and then
So
you have all those people who are continuing to beat their heads against the wall, doing the things that's not working and going, why am I not getting any results? Why am I not moving anywhere? Why am I not making any money? Because you're not seeing what's working and you're not willing to change and try the things that are actually proven to work.
yeah, yeah. So I'm pivoting into something else right now. I've been focusing a lot on my books and yeah. So I figure I can give people health in a different way, not just the one-on-ones or the coach like the group coaching, but I think this aligns with me. I like putting it down and then it's mine. When you put everything out there online, everybody's just taking that and you hear yourself, but it's not you talking.
Yeah,
Next week it's someone else saying what you just said last year or last month, and you're like, wait a minute, why does that sound familiar?
right.
So just find credible sources out there. You could always reach out to CJ and myself. We're everywhere, literally. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we're on the show. You could always drop a comment below the video, and we'll answer you. If you want to learn about systems or if you're just starting out and you want to know what would be a good place to start. We're absolutely so willing to give you that information. Was not freely handed to us out here. So we
Exactly.
do understand why you want real answers, and we're happy to give those to you. So feel free to ask. Okay. So we want to thank you for joining us for this session as we babble about business and just try to share you those little golden nuggets because you never know when you hear that thing that just switches that thing on in your mind. Because there's a lot of people out there hurting financially right now, thinking, we're afraid to start that business. Maybe you can't go all in on a business, but maybe you can generate an extra couple $100 a month that makes the difference in your lifestyle right now. And then when you're ready, move into, a real business, right? So, it's just a thought. So thanks for joining us again and have a good night.